Yes, my Between the Liners, welcome back to the Between the Lines podcast. Welcome to the match reaction for Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 3 at Old Trafford. We have been humbled again by Brighton. I don't think we beat them in the last 4 games now in consecutively. They were the last team to beat us at Old Trafford in the league. They've done it again. It's our first loss at Old Trafford in 32 games, and it's Brighton again, and they've absolutely demolished us, to be honest. I know it's only 3-1. They probably could have scored more. Anana's made a few big saves. I've even said pre-match, I've said it to the boys in the WhatsApp group, I'll show you on a screenshot right here somewhere. I said we were going to lose 3-1. We've ended up getting smacked about 3-1, and I didn't really have faith before the game. Not so much because of United and the form that we've been, but the belief I have in Brighton and De Zerbi is immense. What they're doing and what they're capable of is limitless. I think they're going to go right to the top. This is potential title challenges that we are witnessing in front of us right now. And if you don't believe it, you better believe it. Go back in my Premier League predictions video when me and the boys got round together. You go and see in that video, I had Brighton to come 4th this season. And maybe I've underestimated them. Their squad depth is nuts. And it's not even on paper. Forget on paper. But when you witness them play football, amazing team, unbelievable football. They didn't even play Ferguson. He scored a hat-trick in their last game against Newcastle. And Newcastle are no joke. You guys know that. They dropped Ferguson, had him on the bench. Welbeck's playing, he scores a goal. Gross is doing tactical and midfield masterclasses whenever I see him play. They didn't even have Solly March on today, who probably would have ripped us apart as well. They've got Ferguson coming off the bench. They've got João Pedro coming off the bench and scoring an absolute worldie of a finish. Brighton, fair play to you guys first of all, because what a magnificent display. You guys are going right to the top. Losing 3-1 to champions elect potentially ain't that bad. Let's get into the match reaction from a Man United fan point of view. I know a lot of you guys are going to be depressed. You guys know I'm really usually so positive. I try to always be positive, but there's not many positives you can take from this game. Let's look at the starting lineup first of all, because a few disappointing things we noticed from the start, or at least I did. Reguilón starting. Fair play to the kid, because he didn't play that bad, considering for someone that hasn't played in the Prem for like 2.5 years or so, and has barely played any football since. He put in a decent shift. He worked his socks off as much as he could. He had a good first 20 minutes, a good last 10 minutes. Tried his best to keep up with the run of play and the intensity of the game, but it was disappointing to see him in our starting lineup in 2023. Shows how bad our squad depth is and our injuries are at the moment. Did Wan-Bissaka deserve to get dropped? I didn't think so. I would have liked to have seen Wan-Bissaka on the right, especially because he's had a good history against Mitoma in their individual battles before, and I would have liked to see Dalot on the left. But I thought Dalot did all right against Mitoma anyway. McTominay playing in 2023, should that be happening? Lindelof playing didn't fill me with any confidence. Obviously, it was a necessity because of no Varane, and we don't want Maguire in there. Pellistri not starting is so confusing, bro. Like, what's Ten Hag's stubbornness against Pellistri? Is it because he's seeing all the fanfare, all the fan hype to see Pellistri start, and he doesn't want to give in to the fanfare, so he just thinks, you know what? I'm not going to play Pellistri just because you guys want him to play. And it just didn't make sense. You would have thought this was the perfect opportunity to give him some game time. You know he's going to work hard for the team. You know he's going to track back. Højlund starting was a big plus for us in the starting lineup, because excited to see how he does after his little cameo against Arsenal. Let's take it into the positives of the game, because there's not many. I'm going to start off with the first half. I thought the first 20 minutes was very high intensity, very energetic from the boys. I thought they came out with exactly the right spirit and determination in the first half. We were linking it around in the midfield. The little link-ups between Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksen, McTominay was working the first 20 minutes. I like what they were doing. Little intricate passes in the middle, and they spread it out wide to Rashford, who was in a bit of space because Brighton are congested in the middle and tracking our midfielders. So obviously Ten Hag went with the 4 midfielders, which I'm going to get into a bit later. And it seemed to have worked for the first 20 minutes, so fair play. I think we nullified Brighton's threat as well. And obviously we had the Højlund disallowed goal after great work from Marcus. And we're slowly starting to see Marcus build his way into form, starting to beat his men, his fullback with ease. The more games that are going on, he's looking a bit sharper. Probably could have scored potentially at one point during the game when he took on his man cut inside, just got it wide. But I think Marcus is slowly playing his way into form, and we desperately need him. He's our main goal scorer in the team. 30 goals in all comps last season. We need some of that back ASAP. I know he's already got one this season, but we need more of it, to be honest. Marcus and ASAP, please. In the first half, other than that, wasn't really many other positives, to be honest. Another positive has to be in the second half, more so, we saw Højlund and Rashford linking up better. Obviously, we saw the disallowed goal from Højlund, which is a major positive. Let's talk about Højlund, because the energy and the desire, the hold-up play, the link-up play, Onana finally has someone to hit it long to. Martinez finally has someone that's making a run behind the last line of defence, giving us more options. Anytime the ball came up long to him, you see him being strong, holding the ball up against Lewis Dunk, who's a top centre-back in his own right now, and a very strong centre-back. Let's not get it twisted. And Højlund really held up his own. His link-up play was very good. We saw him set off Marcus at one point in the second half after great hold-up play and link-up play from Højlund. We saw a bit of a relationship building up between Rashford and Højlund. Rashford beating his man, cutting it back to Højlund, who's dropped off his man. And his movement is sensational as well. The little 1-2 yards in the box to get away from his defender, sensational. You saw from the goal that was disallowed after the ball went off the pitch from Marcus's run and cut back. Højlund's movement to move away from Dunk, the little 1-2 touch to set himself in the box in tight spaces and to finish off the composure was nuts. And I cannot wait to see more from Højlund. I know we've got a lot more in store to see from Højlund, especially once the team's up and running more fluidly as well, because right now we're clearly not. So big things, excited to see from Højlund. Look, the final positive from the game, because there wasn't many from this game, to be honest, especially after Brighton scored. The final positive has to be Hannibal Mejbri, whatever his name is, sorry. After he came on, delighted for him. I was quite surprised he came on, to be honest, for Casemiro. It was like almost like we were giving up. But yeah, Hannibal came on, was lively, energetic, as we know, we've seen in his previous few cameos at the club. And then he scored that goal. Fair play to the kid. Had about 2-3 touches. I think the Brighton players didn't even expect him to shoot. So they gave him so much time, and he's ended it rasping it into the shot. And I'll tell you what, that's a great finish, to be fair. Well done to Hannibal. I like the little celebration. It's his first goal. He's passionate. He's Tunisian. I just came back from Tunisia this week, hence the lack of content. Well done, Hannibal. On to the more serious stuff, because you guys know I like to be positive, but we're going to have to be negative, boys, or guys and girls. We'll take it on to the first half negative points, yeah? Because the goal we conceded, how have we allowed... Look, Danny Welbeck is a good footballer in his own right. Wasn't good enough for us at the time. He's obviously gone away to numerous other clubs after and learnt his trade. Is probably a bit more smarter than now than he is as athletic as he once used to be. But to let Danny Welbeck build up his play and build up the goal, picking up the ball from 40 yards away from our goal, to then drift into the box and manage to get a clear shot on goal and finish it off is absolutely pathetic from the boys. Like, who's tracking him? How are you letting him do a couple 1-2s and get himself into the box to be free in the box, in your own box at home, and let him score? Like, how are you allowing that to happen? Who's tracking him back? I'm sorry, but Casemiro has to take some of the blame there. Why is my CDM not following that man from about 10 yards from the halfway line to inside the box? Someone's got to be tracking him. I saw Casemiro's position. I can see what he's doing. He's trying to stop the cross at an angle. He's trying to block off a certain angle from the cross. But if you've missed that angle and the ball's gone into the box anyway, then you've done your job wrong. And I know that some of the centre-backs were split apart there as well. I think we have to blame Ten Hag for something as well, because he's played 4 centre-mids in that game. Bruno, obviously he's a cam, but Bruno, Eriksson, McTominay, Casemiro, yeah? They're all traditionally centre midfielders or central players. How have we got 4 centre mids in a team where we naturally play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. We naturally have wide men, and in this game we've got 4 centre mids, and we've got McTominay out on the right trying to track his fullback, trying to track Brighton's left back, Lamptey, and we've got Eriksen out on the left who's meant to be tracking the right wing back. I don't even know who that guy was. He came from nowhere today, Brighton's right wing back, who I thought had a really good game, by the way. Where do these Brighton players keep coming from? Anyway, I think it was Eriksen's job to track him back, and it just didn't work. Because on that first goal, Reguilon's out by himself trying to track, I think, he was on Brighton's right wing today. I can't even remember. Reguilon's trying to track the right winger, so he's followed his man. No one's followed the Brighton right wing back, so he's come through. Maybe that was Eriksen's job. I don't know. Ten Hag clearly needs to explain that, because I don't understand what was happening there. Martinez is following out, I think. Martinez has ended up being split and come out because no one's been tracking the right wing back. So he's come out to try and cut the cross. Lindelof, with an absolutely pathetic attempt to block the cross, just dangled his right leg out. You're not going to get the ball like that, bruv. What are you doing? Like, how long have you been playing for United and being soft? Where's your aggression and desire to stop the cross coming into the box, man? Lindelof, sort yourself out. It's just hella soft, bro. Like, what's going on? You've been playing for United for so long and you can't be physical, bro. Sorry, guys. Nearly broke the microphone there. Oh, my God. Lindelof, please, show some aggression. I've had a mare here, man. Yeah, anyway, I need to fix this. Other than that, look. Be right back. So with the 4 centimeters tracking back, did that mean Rashford was given a free role up top with Højlund when we were out of possession? Because that didn't make sense either. Because some of the times I saw Marcus playing higher up than Højlund at some points when we were out of possession. Was that the plan? Was we meant to try and lead off on the counter and whip it long to Marcus? And then what's Højlund's role in that situation then? Is he meant to hope for a long ball and then flick it off to Marcus? Because if that was the intention, it never worked out. I just feel like I didn't get Ten Hag's tactics today, especially out of possession and defensively. And you know, De Zerbi and Brighton are going to do a madness on the ball. So when we're out of possession, it needs to be rigid and focused and well thought out, because clearly we were out-tacticked today. De Zerbi is out-tacticked Ten Hag today, especially when we're out of possession. I just didn't get it. You play your normal game like it's been in the last year or so. Play your 4-3-3. If Marcus is your left winger in possession, keep him your left winger out of possession as well. Have him do some dirty work and track back. Follow the right wing back. If that's his job, let him do it. This 4 centre mid thing and trying to get the centre mids to follow back their wingers, that's not their role. That's not their normal role. They're not going to know when to run back and which player to track back at certain times, because you saw McTominay all game. He was absolutely lost. He had no impact in that game whatsoever. And I feel harsh. It's not even completely his fault, because the manager set him up there. He's been put out on the right wing out of possession. It's just not worked. Even in possession, where was McTominay today? I saw him come off in the 80th minute. I honestly forgot he was playing. I saw him in the first half. Second half, I don't think I saw him touch the ball once. No joke. It was insanity today. I didn't get Ten Hag's tactics today at all. Other negatives in the second half and the first half even. Obviously, I've mentioned Ten Hag wanted to play the 4 centimeters, but I've even said it earlier in the starting lineup section. Is this purely to be stubborn and not give Pellistri an opportunity? This was the perfect time and the perfect opportunity to give Pellistri a start. And the thing is about Pellistri, you've seen him when he plays, yeah? You've even heard his attitude and some of the quotes from when he's been working and training off the pitch and stuff and mid-season and international break. The guy just wants to work hard. And you know, you put him in a pitch against Brighton, the guy is going to track back any single fullback you play against him. He's going to work hard and die for the team because he's so eager to impress. And look, who am I to question the manager? The manager sees Pellistri week in, week out, day in, day out at training. I guess he must be doing something wrong in training for him to not get an opportunity like this and for the others to constantly get opportunities ahead of him. Obviously, Anthony, etc. But I just don't get it. We've seen glimpses of Pellistri play and he seemed to impress most times when he's playing on the pitch with limited amount of minutes. Give the boy an opportunity. And at least the one thing you know is a requisite of Ten Hag's players. You know he requires hard work. Pellistri does that every time he plays. And today he didn't even get an opportunity. You know what was worse? In like the 60th, 65th minute, 70th minute, Ten Hag brings on Hannibal and takes off Højlund. We heard the Old Trafford crowd booing a decision by Ten Hag for the first time ever. The decision to take off Højlund. Either Højlund has that much expectation around him and he was playing well, and I can understand the fans' frustrations, and Martial is that bad of a replacement that the crowd was so frustrated they booed the decision. I couldn't believe it. If I was at that game, I wouldn't have booed that decision, to be honest. I felt like that was a bit too far. And also, you got to understand, Højlund's still building himself back into fitness. He hasn't come here fully fit. He's not match fit. You can't just expect him to play 90 minutes. I understand we needed to go, but maybe he was tired. We don't know what the communication was like between the manager and Højlund. So I think booing was a bit too far, but I understood the crowd's frustration because why did he not bring in Pellistri and Garnacho at that time? He brought them on like the 80th minute when we were already 3-1 down? That didn't make sense. Ten Hag's game management today didn't make sense at all before the game and during the game. I'm interested to see what he says after. I haven't seen the post-match conference, so I'm very interested to see. But Garnacho and Pellistri were the obvious substitutions to try and get back into the game, and he didn't do it. It's something weird against Pellistri that Ten Hag has, or he's just really not good enough in training, which we don't see on a day-to-day basis, or he's got other issues that Ten Hag has over Pellistri. We don't know, to be honest, unfortunately. Another worrying sight has to be what? Look, I've backed Casemiro the last few games. I've said you can't doubt him, but he's still not up to speed, unfortunately. Has he lost a yard of pace potentially? Is he following certain players back with the energy he was last season? I'm not so sure anymore, and I'm really concerned. Another man I hate to criticise, and I always try to stick up for, Lisandro Martinez, because since he's come in, he's been a revelation. But some of his defending in these first few weeks has been a bit questionable. Even like the goal for Pascal Gross, why is he diving in like that? I get it, he was trying to potentially block a shot, but Gross has done him in completely, and then it's a great finish from Gross, by the way, a top footballer, very underrated. I tried putting him in my Premier League team of the season last season. Everyone laughed me off, but clearly, look, the guy is a talented footballer. But Martinez needs to step it up a bit. Some of his passing hasn't been as effective and incisive as it was last season. He looks like he's coming back from the summer holidays a bit sluggish, as some of the team have, a lot of the team have, to be honest. And then second half, we came out as well, and Ten Hag continued to stay with the same formation, the same 4 centre mids in that midfield. You saw it didn't work in the first half. And I understand you want the team to prove you wrong, but come on, bro. We all saw that team wasn't working in the first half, especially after Brighton scored and our confidence drops. We've done it in a lot of games. Our confidence drops after we concede. Change it up. You can see it wasn't working. Ten Hag, man, I never question you. My love for you will always remain until the day that you leave this club. And I know you will definitely be a success at this club. But today, you were completely tactically outclassed by De Zerbi, and you should have seen it before the game. You should have done better during the game as well. Even at half-time, you had a chance to try and change things. You didn't change anything. And when you did try and change, you brought Garnacho and Pellistri on, it was too late. So I'm very disappointed with Ten Hag today, unfortunately. And I hate saying that, to be honest. Obviously, João Pedro scored. By then it was 3-0, which was a great finish, to be honest. I weren't even paying attention tactically who was at fault there. Something came off from their left-hand side. Look, let's take it into the match roundup. Who was our best player today? I honestly don't know. Højlund? Not that he did much, but Højlund maybe, Rashford maybe. Onana was pretty quiet today in possession. Didn't really see him spraying it about like he usually does, which was quite surprising. I honestly don't know who was our best player today. I want to say fair play to Reguilon, because obviously he's not played a lot of football, but he put in a shift, didn't really get spun out here and there like we probably all expected to. Lindelof, I just get stronger, my bro. Please. Go to the gym. Bruv, if you need to take testosterone tablets like Pogba did or whatever happened, allegedly or whatever, do it, bruv. Man, the fuck up, bro. Sort yourself out. Get aggressive. How many times are we going to see the same mistakes from Lindelof over and over again, season in, season out? You're bought by Mourinho. You would thought you'd have more character than that. And the whole team, to be honest. Where's the character? Where's the desire like Højlund, who's desperate to get into the box every opportunity? Where's the desire like that? You're losing 1-0, 2-0 at Brighton at home, and there's no intensity to get back into the game. You're passing it around short passes with no intensity, slow. You're not trying to create any chances. I can't remember one clear-cut chance that we had against Brighton, except when maybe Rashford was going down the byline and cutting it back. Other than that, what do we create? We're Man United at home. So obviously Ten Hag has to take some of the blame, but the players definitely have to take some of the blame as well. The lack of intensity and desire is such a worry. Look, looking ahead, man, looking ahead. We've got Bayern at home on Tuesday. We've got Bayern away on Tuesday. We've got Burnley away next week. You already know our away form hasn't been great under Ten Hag. Slightly worrying times, but it's still early on in the season. Let's not get carried away and lose our heads, because I believe in this team. We've got so many injury problems, so many off-the-field problems like Sancho and Anthony. Ten Hag is trying to juggle all of that, and the Maguire situation. He's trying to juggle all of that and still try to put results together. It's hard to build up something and build up chemistry when you've got so many moving pieces off the pitch. He's having to deal with all these things off the pitch, let alone trying to solve the situation on the pitch. So I have sympathy for Ten Hag. I've questioned him a little today because some of the decisions didn't really make sense to me, but I have complete faith that this guy is the right manager to turn it around. Starting on Tuesday against Bayern Munich away from home, I believe in Ten Hag. I knew we were going to lose today because Brighton are so good, and let me reiterate, Brighton are honestly on their way to the top 4, or challenging for a title of some sorts. They're doing an absolute madness. Their squad and the way they play is unbelievable. The way they're set up is unbelievable, honestly. Fair play to Brighton. Anyway, this is the Between the Lines podcast. Make sure you like the video, please. Subscribe if you haven't already. More great content coming out very soon. We've got Ryan and Haas coming into the studio tomorrow. Hopefully a special video coming out this week. Let me know in the comments, guys. What did you think about today's performance? What went wrong? Was Ten Hag too stubborn today, or was it just the players' faults? Let me know, please. This is Between the Lines podcast, signing out. Safe. Between the Lines.